welcome Blake Maddux.
Good evening, folks. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Rick. So my name's Blake, and I moved out to Boston area about 3.5 years ago. And I love it. I've always lived around the Harvard Square area, and I love it. You know, so many fascinating people, places, and things. One time over by the T-stop, I saw a girl who had a button on her backpack that said, "Think for yourself." So I went up behind her, I said, "Think for yourself, eh?" She said, "Yeah, that's right." And I said, "Okay, whatever you say." I'm a bit of a movie buff too, and there's so many great movie theaters in Harvard Square. I think though over the years I've become a bit numb to the emotional effect of movies though, because I don't really respond to them emotionally really. The last movie that made me cry was Philadelphia. Did you guys see that one? Yeah. I just thought it was so sad at the end when that law firm lost the case and had to pay that guy all that money. Granted, I saw it coming, but still, didn't prepare me for it. Yeah. I used to walk home down this one street, and there was a store I never went into, but it was a fancy little store, and out front it had a sign that said, over 1,000 hard-to-find fragrances. And I always thought that meant that the store was poorly organized. Like, come on in, good luck finding it. But yeah, apparently that's not what it means. Now I realize that sounds made up, but the fact is my entire life I've had this problem whereby I misinterpret words and phrases like that, where I just take them too literally. Like, for a long time I thought a non-profit organization was one that needed to try harder. Advertise, get the word out, improve the product. I always wondered, why do they amplify that fact? They always draw attention to the fact that they're a non-profit organization. I'm like, do they want me to feel sorry for them or something? It's your own fault. Put a little effort into it. When I first went off to college, I became very good friends with this girl who was a psychology major. And she said to me at one point, "Blake, you have a type A personality." And I'm like, "No, I don't think that's possible." She's like, "No, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people have a type A personality." I'm like, "I know, Shelley, but I've never even been to the capital of Taiwan." Wow, I think that's a record for people who get that joke. Congratulations. Very good. So I put off buying a DVD player for a long time because, I thought, I noticed DVDs always said featuring deleted scenes. And I thought, if I'm going to pay that much for a DVD, I want to see the whole movie. So it's usually pretty harmless like that. One time it got me in some trouble though. I got hired at this fancy little club. It's like a doorman, usher sort of thing, and very fancy, posh little place. And the first night they put me in this back room, working the door of the back room, where before and after the show they'd have like parties for crew and invited guests. And my boss said, "Okay, Blake, I'm going to be watching you from over there. And remember, do not let anyone in without explicit authorization." You got me? And I said, "Right, no one gets in without explicit authorization." Got it. So this nice couple comes up to me, I say, "Good evening, folks." The man says to me, "Good evening." I say, "May I have your pass, please?" This guy hands me his pass, and I examined it and handed it back to him and said, "Okay, assholes, get the fuck in there." Didn't last too long at that. So I just started doing comedy this year, actually. So far I'm loving every 5 to 7 minutes of it. It's something I've always wanted to do. Something I've wanted to do my entire life, but I finally got around to devoting myself to it. Like many things in my life, I just don't get around to things. Writing, for example, is something I've always wanted to commit myself to. But over the years, I've tried to write a couple books. One was about oral sex, from the time of the ancients to Bill Clinton. And that book is called Going Down in History. But the book I've been working on the longest, actually, many years now, is my autobiography, The Story of My Life. And that one's called Don't Let This Happen to You. Cautionary tale. And the reason I titled it as that is because I tend to have a lot of bad luck. Bad luck tends to follow me around. You know how you get those letters from credit card companies that say that you've been pre-approved? Well, I get them from dating services saying I've been pre-rejected. So I have a bad history. What else? I bought a can of Sprite recently, and I didn't notice. I opened it up, and I didn't notice it, but there was a tick inside of it, and I drank it, and I got lemon Lyme disease. When I was in college, I took a class on literary theory, and there were a lot of books in the class, and I didn't want to buy them all, so I stole them from a guy who I knew who had taken the class, and they caught me, and I got busted for deconstruction of private property. Wow, okay. We're in Harvard Square. So I thought maybe I have bad luck a lot because maybe there's something wrong with me. So I went to this website that has like psychological self-tests. You know, you take them and, you know, it determines whether or not you have something wrong with you. So I took the one on, I took the one to see if I had an obsessive compulsive disorder. You know, it was 25 questions. I answered them all. I clicked the finish button. The computer thought for a couple seconds and said, "Results not available. Please check back every 1 minute and 22 seconds." So I did. And hey, I do in fact have obsessive compulsive disorder. Go figure. Yeah. So, getting back before, it occurred to me that, you know, when I say I misinterpret words and phrases a lot to mean something other than they do. When you think about it, though, there are a lot of things in the English language that we say that seem to mean something other than what we used before. And I think the best example of that is the expression head over heels. Because it means you feel out of the ordinary in some way. You feel really excited and really good, and, you know. But, you know, if you think about it, your head is always over your heels, right? So shouldn't that expression mean that you feel perfectly normal? And that everything is exactly as it should be? You know, so people used to say to you, "Hey, Blake, how you doing? Head over heels." Yeah, me too. All right. So before I get off the stage here tonight, let me thank you all for coming again and let you know that I do have a CD available for purchase. If any of you are interested, you know, you can see me after the show. We'll work something out. It's a Van Halen CD from like 1995. I don't really listen to it anymore. Alrighty, folks, back to Rick. Thanks a lot.